Good evening, folks. This is Andy Petrasza with Special Effects Academy, and we're on the start of the week session for the Forex Trading Room for December 1st of 2019. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. If you're in the U.S., if not, I'm sorry for you, but we can't all be in the U.S., so there's that. And, let's go on the road. You will look at the currency strength meter, fundamental announcements coming up for the week, a look at the major pairs on the daily charts, any setups in progress, and a few words in conclusion. Not any change at all. Again, this was a holiday week here in the U.S., so basically Thursday and Friday were off, and even Monday through Wednesday, which were technically regular days, volume was pretty low. It just wasn't worth the trading. We did do a few trades on the short-term account with not so good results. The other accounts pretty much stayed the same as the week before. So long-term ledger, no new trades open, no trades closed, everything the same as it was. Same applies for the intermediate term ledger, nothing new opened. We have our same trades. And really the price levels didn't change a whole lot throughout the week. So the week ended flat as probably would be expected. A few currencies did move to some degree, but nothing significant in the grand scheme of things. And the short-term ledger, as I said, we did open two trades. Both of them did go again, so we lost a small amount there. So we're down about 2.5% for the week, and the two trades are on the screen. We were trying to trade the retraces on the pound after the pound did move into strength to some degree and started retracing back, but ended up pretty much at the same level it had achieved in the first half of the week. So again, on Fridays, we do close out all these trades. So on Friday, they hadn't moved in our favor at all, and we did get out. No opportunities for improvement. Also not much. Major holiday week in the U.S., so there's nothing to be done about that. Small downtick on the short term, as we just saw, and no changes on the intermediate or long-term accounts. Relative strength meter for the past 30 days and the past 7, as we can see on the monthly. We've got a few clear losers and 1 or 2 clear winners. On the monthly, the dollar gained the most, followed by the pound, and that followed by the Kiwi. On the losing end of things, the Aussie didn't fare too well, and that was pretty much it. Everything was very middle of the road. I would say the Swiss probably didn't fare too well either, but it didn't make any significant moves. For the month, significant movers were silver. Silver has dropped a lot in the past 30 days, but is staging a recovery. The past 2 weeks have been bullish for silver as well as for gold. Looking at the last 7 days, we can see that not a whole lot happened overall. The Swiss lost ground. The yen lost ground as well. And most of the others were pretty much middle of the pack. And again, volatility was pretty low, staying very close to the 1% level for the week. Our calendar for this week, last week was the first time we haven't had a fundamental announcement in a long time. This week we have 4 of them. We're going to have interest rate decisions out of Australia on Monday, so tomorrow night, and out of Canada on Wednesday. So we've got those 2 interest rate decisions. And then we do have the job reports coming out of the U.S. and Canada on Friday. So we will be trading those 4 events live. On Friday, of course, it's one event. Both the U.S. and Canada will report their job numbers at the same time Friday morning. So we'll juggle that on our fundies. So while the calendar has 4 fundies, there will be 3 sessions only to trade these events. And with that, we move into the charts, starting with oil. Oil had a very strong retrace back down towards the outer trend line on Friday, as we can see here in the chart. So it did lose ground to a highly significant degree. It didn't really affect anything else and is still well above its prior lows, still tracking more sideways than anything else. But we've definitely seen that most recent uptrend get threatened. I wouldn't say it's broken yet. It's definitely not broken, but it's trying to look for support at this time. And moving on to the currencies, euro dollar continued with a very sluggish but nonetheless bearish movement. It has broken that outer trend line and is looking for its next level of support. We're actually short on this pair on the intermediate term, and I think carrying some profit, not a whole lot. We'll have to see if this bearish movement continues. But so far, it's looking very good. We're looking at a definite trend line break. I always like those. They tend to give us some good trading opportunities. We're already in this trade, as I mentioned, so we'll just have to see where it takes us. Pound dollar continues tracking sideways, and that's to be expected. We have the UK elections coming up in a little bit under 2 weeks, so that is scheduled for the 12th of December, and the pound will probably be tracking sideways until that event, unless there's something coming out in the news cycle that will wake it up. So we're always short on the pound on the long-term account, and we'll probably remain there for the duration. I would still expect to see it go down to test some of the lower levels of support. Obviously, nothing written in stone yet, but it has a much higher likelihood of going down than of going up. USD/JPY broke resistance last week and is still following that trend line. We're also long on this pair, so we're tracking that trend line as well. We are trend followers at the end of the day, so we have to track either the trends or the trend breaks. And in this case, we're also carrying a small amount of profit on this one and looking to see how far up that trend line it goes. So it's looking good, but it's still very much in a precarious position where we're waiting for either a continuation or a reversal. USD Canadian has refused to go much higher than it did a couple of weeks ago. It made a try on Friday and hit the trend line and very quickly bounced right back towards the bottom. So it is lying on that outer trend line, that very steep uprising trend line. And we're looking obviously for a trend line break. And we do have an open trade on this as well. Our stop loss is above that level of resistance at the 133.50. And as I said, it hasn't been even slightly threatened for quite a while. So it does seem to be a strong stopping point. We'll have to see if we do get a break towards the bottom. The CAD obviously isn't being helped by lowering oil prices, though oil and the CAD have pretty much gone their separate ways this year, but still, that isn't helping, and we have seen weakness in the CAD from the bottom of October through today, so a little bit more than a month that it's been going back toward resistance. It is still in general sideways, and I'm still very bearish on the USD CAD. We'll have to see if it does fulfill anytime soon. Even this year, we've got now less than a month left of the year. The year's winding down. December is typically a slow trading period as well. So we'll have to see if that carries through this year or not. Last year, we had some spectacular movements in both the stock market and the Forex market in December. So even that's not written in stone, but traditionally December is pretty slow. USD Swiss made a break towards the top last week as well and broke resistance, quickly popping back down on Friday. And as of now, we'll be waiting for that opportunity to trade it down yet again. We did get taken out of a USD Swiss trade. I'm not sure if last week or the week before, but that was the last trade that we got taken out of on the intermediate term account. And again, it's gone up towards the very top. At this point, we're looking for that opportunity to trade it back down. Aussie dollar also heading down, also a trade we have open on the intermediate, and we are carrying profit It just made a lower low on Friday, a low it hadn't seen since back in early October. So this is looking good for a quick trip back towards the bottom, perhaps even beyond. Kiwi dollar. Usually the Kiwi and the Aussie track together. They're joined at the hip. Right now, that isn't happening. The Kiwi dollar is just sticking to a straight line, sticking to a point of resistance and tracking sideways. This is another one where I would expect it to break towards the bottom at some point, but it seems to be in a in a very uncommon sideways pattern. This pair does not like to go sideways for any significant period of time, so this is an anomaly when it comes to the Kiwi dollar, and of course we'll have to wait and see how long it lasts. I'm still bearish on this pair, same as with the Aussie dollar, but we do have to wait and see what happens with the current sideways movement. We're also in this trade as well on the intermediate, and either at a small profit or break even. I forget which one. But again, trying to trade it towards the bottom. Aussie CAD, we're also in this one, and it's looking good. Also got a lower low last week on Friday that we haven't seen since back in October. And we're looking for a quick trip to the bottom of the chart. So far, it is looking good. Euro Swiss, we've been trying to trade it down, and it's trying to make its way up. So this is our one significantly losing trade on the intermediate right now. Still nowhere near our stop loss, and of course we'll have to see what it does give us this week. In general, bearish on the euro, so we are still trying to trade this one down. It's in a sideways pattern, and we're looking for a trip towards the bottom of its sideways channel. Euro pound, obviously waiting on the UK vote and Brexit deliberations or decisions in general. I am waiting for a trip. Okay, again, my apologies for the interruption. So we were on the Euro JPY. As I was saying, last week was a very small bullish retracement back towards resistance. Nothing major, but it did definitely track up the pretty much the 5 days of the week. This is another one where I expect it to go down more than up, everything else being equal, since I am bearish on the euro, but obviously it will have its own, it'll make up its own mind. But I am bearish on this pair. It's a pretty solid level of resistance where it's at, and I am looking for a break of the trend lines and a quick trip towards the bottom. Euro Canadian heading down. It went pretty sideways towards the end of the week, trying to do a little bit of a breakout on Friday, even Thursday, towards the bottom of the trend line, but those quickly failed, and it went down to, well, a little bit below where it had started the week. So a bearish end to the week. We are short on this pair as well, and trying to trade down to the outer trend line or to the bottom of the chart. So far, it's still looking good. Pound JPY, the pound pairs are a bit of an anomaly right now, as they are pretty much waiting for the UK election. We did have a movement out of the pound JPY bullish towards the middle of the week, and then it just tracked sideways for the remainder. It is at resistance. I am looking to be short on this pair. Indeed, I'm actually short on the long-term account, but I would be looking to get in short on this and other pound pairs as we get closer to the elections, especially if we start seeing a break towards the bottom. So we'll be looking at these pound pairs very carefully. Aussie JPY continues very sideways, tracking the bottom of a trend line as well as a level of support. Not a whole lot of movement in the past 2 weeks on this pair. Euro New Zealand is tracking a rather steep trend line down. Did have a sort of a sideways week, but still hit lower lows on pretty much every day of the week, even if in the end it ended up tracking sideways. So very eagerly waiting for the week to begin to see if this one does start heading down again. Pound Canadian, as with the other pound pairs, it's tracking very sideways. The bullish movement we see has been more CAD weakness than anything the pound has been doing. But even with that, it's still very sideways. It did break resistance, so it's now above support, but not moving too far away from that. So again, this is another one where we'll be waiting for any developments to start trading it down. And last but not least, and same story, the pound Swiss also had a bit of a bullish week, managing to make it back to the prior level of resistance. Actually ended above, so that is now support. Still tracking a rather steep trend line there as well. And as with the other pound pairs, eagerly awaiting an opportunity to go short. And that is it for our charts on the setups we see in progress. You won't see much change from what I said last week. Virtually zero movement as the UK enters the final weeks before the general election. The movements we did see on the pound pairs were not really due to the pound. They were due to the other side of the pairs, either the yen or the CAD. The dollar pairs, the dollar continues to look a little bit weathered, but it's not giving up the fight yet. So we have seen these movements into dollar strength, regardless of the fact that we've got impeachment deliberations going on, which should actually come to a vote this week. We've still got the ongoing issues with China. There's a lot of stuff going on that is not good for the dollar, but the dollar has so far refused to move into any significant weakness. So again, we're waiting on developments to see if we get a good movement started. The CAD continues to show some evidence of strength, but still more sideways than anything else. The Swiss has been losing ground for no good reason at all, but we've definitely seen the Swiss losing ground to the dollar and pretty much sideways with other currencies. And the euro, as I keep saying, the euro doesn't seem to have a whole lot of upside. But again, it's tracking sideways more than anything else. This could be an early December kind of scenario because the market does tend to go quiet in December. But I just don't think so. I think that the British elections are pretty much putting their thumb on the market right now, keeping it steady. Everybody's just waiting for that development. So we may have some significant movements towards the middle of the month as we get the UK election to actually happen. Until then, well, we'll be looking for those opportunities wherever they come. And our final words here for the week, and I try to stress this a lot, at least once every quarter, I make this my message, and that is that our job is to make money. We're not here to predict the market. We're not here to be right or to know better than anybody else. We're not here for the recognition. We're not looking at the charts to see what the euro dollar will be doing this week. We are not looking at the charts to figure out daily, to figure out if something is going to go up or down in the next few hours. That is not why we're here. We're here to make money. The only reason we're looking at the charts is because we are systematic in our approach. If a trend is broken, if a horizontal support or resistance is broken, if it makes a new high, if it makes a new low, all of these are what the charts are telling us, and our systems are going to be saying, well, if a trend is broken, you will trade in that direction and your stop loss will be here or there. So that's it. That's the only reason we're looking at the charts. Forget about predicting. Forget about being right. That's it. End of story. We're not here to be right. We're here to make money. And that is the end of my presentation for today. Apologies for the interruption there in the middle. And does anybody have any comments or questions? Okay, then thank you very much. And we will be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. for our first live trading session of the week. Have a good one.